Science rules. Inertia is a property of matter. T minus 7 seconds.
Evolution is the change in the genetic makeup of a population over time. As the environment changes, organisms with certain traits will be more fit to survive in the environment, and they will survive to reproduce. These organisms are more evolutionarily successful than their counterparts.
Hello, you're here today with me, Neil deGrasse Tyson, as on the new Nova PBS special. Today I'm here at a fraternity with our friendly Homo sapien, Chad. Now, Chad, tell me, what fraternity are you from?
Phi Kappa Theta! Hey, what's up?
Right. Okay, now Chad, can you tell us, what is the purpose of life?
Well, dude, you always, the grind never stops, dude. Doesn't matter when you leave the locker room, you're still freaking balling. And I mean, you can't forget about reproducing.
Alright, well, Bill, back to you.
Before the Industrial Revolution, forests were very light-colored. After the Industrial Revolution, soot from the industry surrounded the forest, and the forest became darker colored. Prior to the Industrial Revolution, there were more light-colored moths, and after the Industrial Revolution, there were more dark-colored moths. This is because in a lighter environment, the lighter-colored moths were more fit to survive, whereas in a darker-colored environment, the darker-colored moths had more camouflage and were more fit to survive. Darker-colored moths in the earlier environment would have been selected against, and they wouldn't have survived to reproduce. Whereas in the darker environment, the darker-colored moths would have been more fit for the environment and would have survived to reproduce. Thus, the population of dark-colored moths would have risen.
We know that all mammals evolved from one common ancestor. We know this because they all have very similar structures in their body. Today, I'm here with an 8th grade boy and a chocolate lab. If you looked at the structures in their arm, if we could look at the bones, you would see that they have the same morphological characteristics. 1 bone, 2 bones, and lots of bones in the hand or paw. For a more detailed explanation, my friend Bill is going to explain this next part.
All organisms can be traced back to a common ancestor. The 3 kingdoms, archaea, bacteria, and eukarya, can all be traced back on this cladogram to a common ancestor. Prior to the diverging of the 3 kingdoms, glycolysis must have occurred in the common ancestor, because glycolysis is a process that occurs in all organisms. Talk about an evolutionary advantage.
How did life on Earth begin?
Well, Chad, that's a very good question. Let's go to Bill in the studio to find out.
In the 1950s, biochemists Stanley Miller and Harold Urey conducted an experiment in which they simulated the conditions of early Earth and found that organic compounds could have arisen from this inorganic matter and some electricity. Now that we understand how life has originated and evolved to become what we know it as today, let's go to my correspondent in the studio to find out what the purpose of life actually is.
Oh, hello there. I'm just examining the beauty in life. Now, Bill, the purpose of life, as we've learned today, has been to biologically reproduce your genetic material to pass on the most adaptive species, to be the most fit to survive. Now, in a more philosophical speaking, there is a greater meaning for the purpose of life, to be your best self. But kids, remember, populations evolve, individuals do not. Have a great day and a great week. I hope you learned something.